Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Dardis. Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Breiling.
Here.
Mr. Hendrickson. Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mr. Ebinger.
Here.
Mr. Campbell. Mr. Capitan.
Here.
Mr. Grimberg. Mr. Steen. Ms. Morgan. Quorum is present.
Good. I know a couple of the members had different meetings today, so thank you all of you for showing up today. We would like quorum. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for the board meeting on February 26, 26?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve the order of agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the following by roll call vote?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Roll call vote?
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Breiling.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Yes.
Mr. Capitan.
Yes.
And Mr. Steen.
Very good. Jason, Executive Director update?
Thanks, Mayor and board members. So I want to first start out, 2 weeks ago, we had the opportunity to go up to Winnipeg. Of course, not only regionally, the closest project to ours, but internationally, it's across the world, it's the closest project to ours as far as the size of the project. Their channel is 30 miles. Our channel is 30 miles. They have a southern embankment that's about 22 miles, pretty similar to ours. So we went up there to talk operations and maintenance, and the Manitoba floodway staff, which are members of, they're actually members of the Minnesota Transportation Infrastructure, so almost kind of like their DOT are the folks that do the day-to-day maintenance and operations. But we spent about a day and a half with them and toured their control structure, and really were able to go in depth on how they operate, some of the challenges that they have, whether it's post-operations cleanup, different maintenance, mowing, how they handle contracts, and just going through their laundry list of all of their standard operating procedures and all their policies that they have to follow. A lot of those fell in line with what we're thinking of, but it definitely gave us a great idea of some of the things that we knew were out there, but it's like, okay, hey, that's they've already developed these things, and they're more than happy to continue the conversation if we've got questions, and to share for them to share documents where possible, so that way we can see how they do those things more in depth. But it was a great trip. I think it was very worthwhile for our staff to get up there as we work over the next 6 to 12 to 18 months in transitioning from construction to operations and maintenance. So any questions on the Winnipeg trip?
Any questions, Commissioner Pepcorn?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Jason, I have a couple of questions for you. What is their ballpark that they spend a year on maintenance for theirs? And then how do they pay for that? Those are my questions.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair and Commissioner Pepcorn. I'll have to look at staff. I don't recall that a number.
That's okay. If you don't have the answer, but I just think it'd be interesting since it's close to ours. Just in the future, if you could get those, that'd be awesome, because I just think it would be good to compare just to see how we're doing.
Absolutely. But from a funding standpoint, they get their funding from the province of Manitoba. And so years ago, they had a kind of a Manitoba floodway board or committee that managed that. After the floodway expansion that happened after 1997, that board went away, and so now everything's managed by the Manitoba floodway through the Transportation Infrastructure Department. And then
John Shockley, maybe you want to comment to that, as how eventually our O&M to be covered by our drain tax?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the operations and maintenance of our diversion project has a couple different revenue sources. So in the master indenture of trust, after the payment of debt service on the WIFIA and the other obligations, whatever sales tax remains goes into a fund to help pay operations and maintenance, in addition to a portion of the operations and maintenance that is attributed to the Minnesota side. So Moorhead is collecting its portion through it has a stormwater maintenance fee. And then Clay County, over the course of the next year and a half, will have to determine the proportion that's attributed to the countywide in Clay County that would be collected for the Minnesota portion of the operations and maintenance. And then if there are remaining needs for operation and maintenance, then the authority through the Cass County Joint Water Resource District has the ability to impose an annual drain tax. It's very similar to the drain tax that is imposed by the Southeast Cass Water Resource District that's associated with the Cheyenne and Horace diversions. And it's based solely upon valuation of the property. Ag land is capped at, I believe, $4 per acre. And so it's not a large tax, but given the size of the area, it can generate some funds to be available for operations and maintenance. And as part of the planning for the operations and maintenance, the team has been working through with Jason directing, developing lines of operation and effort that'll translate into costs, and then that helps build the budget and figure out what the revenue needs are and a determination of how much extra beyond the funds produced by the operations and maintenance on the Minnesota side, plus the excess sales tax, what's left for that would need to go out as a drain tax.
So Dave, it's a little complicated. I think Bernie Dardis could comment on it. On your diversion, you had a drain tax or something did it get paid off, Bernie?
It's still collected.
Still collecting. And Dave, you're north
Because
side,
of
I'm south
maintenance.
side, but south side, I have a drain tax on drain 27 that goes behind my house. So south siders are used to having some kind of drain tax right now, but it's not going to be a lot. It usually is a nominal amount because there's so many people that live here, so.
Mr. Shaka could probably clarify that. I believe there's a certain portion of West Fargo that pays 50 cents, and I think there's a portion of the Horse one that's $1. Isn't that correct, John?
Commissioner Dardis, Chair Mahoney, I believe that's correct. It's very close to those amounts. It depends upon valuation of the home, and so, you know, $1 million home is going to pay slightly more than a $100,000 home.
Thank you.
But it's for
Yeah,
maintenance,
that
it's for
answer-
maintenance, and it goes to southeast water, right?
Correct.
John? Yeah.
Any other questions on that? Are we okay? Okay, next part then, Minnesota legislative update.
All right, thanks. So 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to be down in St. Paul for the Moorhead Clay County Chamber Days. A great event. We were able to spend time with all of our local senators and representatives, as well as leadership from other House and Senate committee, senior members. So very good set of meetings. And that Thursday afternoon, when the main chamber event was done, we had some set-aside meetings with Senate and House leadership to talk about our funding request for the $64 million. And I think the bigger question still going on with the legislative session is, depending on who you talk to, there's questions whether there will be a bonding bill this year. A lot of people think there will be, but since there was a bonding bill last year, there are some that still think that maybe there won't be one this year and it'll go towards 2027. And then based on the current budget for flood control projects, it's only $9 million across the state. So we probably would be looking for tapping into getting a one-time kind of earmark for funding instead of relying solely on just being part of that $9 million. But we've got got another 2 months in the session, and so we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and I'll be down in St. Paul, I'm sure several more times, but we're continuing our efforts and continuing to meet between Moorhead, Clay County, Buffalo Red Watershed, and our partnership with the Chamber of Commerce and their lobbyists. So that's my report, if anyone has a question.
And you had quite a team down there. A lot of people from the chamber went down to help out, is that correct?
Yes, we had a lot of great, business members from the business community on the Moorhead, Clay County side, as well as, political leadership. The mayor was there, Commissioner Mojo was there, Mayor Chad Olson from Dilworth was there, so we had a great turnout. I think nearly 40 people there.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thanks.
John Chalkley, resolution established debris removal and restoration subcommittee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Diversion Authority Board. Before you, you have a resolution to create a subcommittee to deal with debris removal and property damage restoration. Pursuant to Section 1902 of the settlement agreement with the Upstream Coalition, when we are in the process of drafting the settlement agreement, one of the items that their organization and their membership was concerned about, as well as I think the Diversion Authority Board, was how do operations and maintenance look for cleaning up debris after the project operates? And that could be anything from large piles of corn stalks to tree branches to excess items that have floated on to different farmers' property. And so at that time, we had agreed to create a subcommittee that would include at least 2 agricultural producers from the upstream group. On the page just above this, you'll see a potential timeline that would assume that the board approves the creation of the subcommittee. We're envisioning over the next several months leading up to November that there would be a finalization of the debris removal and cleanup plan that would come back to the Land Management Committee and would come back to this board for approvals, which with final program implementation in March of next year to coincide with anticipated being ready for operations. The membership, if we scroll to the next page, after vetting this out, would be 1 member of the subcommittee recommended by Cass County Joint Water Resource District, 1 member recommended by the MCC JPA. Having those 2 entities involved in recommending some members is important because they're in charge of the land acquisition for all the properties within the UMA. Then 3 members recommended by the Land Management Committee, at least 2 having technical experience. And then 2 members from the Richland-Wilkin County JPA, those being active agricultural producers within the staging area. They'd all be voting members. The chair and vice chair of that subcommittee would be voted upon by that committee. It will be subject to open meetings. The Diversion Authority staff will arrange for meeting locations, times, et cetera. The resolution creating the subcommittee was recommended for approval by the Lands Committee yesterday. And so it's moved forward to the board for your final approval. And this is something that was contemplated in the settlement agreement with the Wilkin-Richland County JPA.
Any questions? Can I have a motion for the resolution? Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Carlson?
Yes.
Mayor Dardis?
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney?
Aye.
Mr. Breitling?
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn?
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger?
Aye.
Mr. Capitan?
Yes.
And Mr. Steen?
Yes.
That is everyone.
WIFIA update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is not an action item. It's only for information. I wanted to inform the board that the Diversion Authority did receive its first requisition from WIFIA, and that was in the amount of about $47.5 million. That came in just before March 15th, and that was reimbursement for prior expenses associated with the diversion channel. And so the process is moving along very smoothly. either on the 1st or the 15th of each month, the authority can submit requests for reimbursement of the loan. Remember, that loan is an amount of $569 million in principal with an interest rate of about 2.08%. As part of, once we start making draws, one thing for the board to be aware of is that next month you'll see that, that additional $47.5 million in the financials. It came in after March 1st, so you'll see it next month. And then also, as the loan value goes up, the trustee, the Bank of North Dakota, under the Master Indenture of Trust, will retain a little bit more of the sales tax each month to build the required reserve. Under the WIFIA loan, there was a small reserve that was required. And so as proportionately as the draws go up to $569 million, the trustee will slowly build up the reserve amount. So you'll see a little bit less sales tax distributed to the authority. I think this month it'll be about $1 million less. It's not disappearing, it's just being held in reserve for that loan. So happy to answer any questions, but.
Any question? Thanks, John. Project updates, Terry Williams.
Good afternoon, Chair Mahoney and board members. Another short update today as we approach the start of the upcoming construction season. For the diversion inlet and the wild rice structures, we're now anticipating that turnover could occur in May to the sponsors for operations and maintenance. For the Red River structure on number 3, Ames is also preparing for construction completion of that structure. They held a red zone meeting on the 12th of March, and it's looking like maybe turnover to the sponsors could occur in late August. Jumping down to all of our ongoing contracts under number 6 and 7, we anticipate embankment or earthwork operations starting up around 1 May, weather permitting, of course. And then the last item I have is number 8. We did award our 3rd and final forest mitigation contract on 27 February. The amount was just under $800,000, and that's a 3-year contract. The first year they'll do a lot of planting, and then plant in years 2 and 3 and maintain if they need to. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions of Terry? Terry, I don't know if you stay on for a whole meeting, but Ben Askegard is going to address us at the public comment time, so I would ask if you could kindly stay on since that's part of the Corps' contract.
Will do, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Chris, updates.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Mahoney and board. Again, fairly brief update again today. Maybe just a reminder, our color coding system on the graphic map, just for reference. As things are completed, we change them to the lighter blue color, and when we actually reach our interim completion and make the payment for that portion, it turns to the darker blue color. So you'll note that we changed the County Road 20 bridge this month. I think that was actually an oversight last month. We actually made that payment in January and could have made that color change, but just a note for, and then everything in tan is the work that's underway. So as you talk, you'll see in the drone video, we were able to open the BNSF KO line last week, and one direction last week, and the other direction here is happening as we speak. Likely done, and trains are rolling on both sets of tracks across the new bridge. For the channel, in the 30 to 60 day outlook, there's quite a few channel reaches that are nearing completion and interim completion, so we're working through that with the developer right now. As Terry mentioned on the SEAI, we mostly noted in there that in the next 30 to 60 days we'll see activity moving again. And then the 30, 60 days, just more progress and earthwork and embankments on the Red River structure as well. Not a lot of updates on the bridge side, just a couple of key ones. We were able to open the County Road 22 bridge to traffic. That was one that had some minor repairs that they were working on and kind of dealing with winter weather on. And then the BNSF KO opening to traffic here last week and this week was another great milestone. Remaining bridges, have various degrees. Most of what's left is roadway work. I think you'll see in the drone video, we made our last concrete pour on the railings on the 52nd Avenue Bridge. So that completed all the concrete work for structures, for the bridge structures anyway. So once the weather gets warm enough here, likely late April or in May, we'll work on finishing up the roads and getting those final 3 bridges opened, and then the 2, 16, 17, and 81 paved so that we have those back to their permanent condition. So with that, I'd stand for any questions related to the construction update.
Any questions? You can proceed.
On the safety update, a good month, no recordable events, slight uptick in the near misses. So again, those are obviously things to watch and concern with. The near misses could easily become recordable. So I know there's been some attention made on the RVA ASN side of addressing those near misses with their safety program. But again, a good month with no serious injuries or anything that was up to the level of having to be recordable. So with that, just wanted to highlight probably a little different section of our P3 report this month and talk about our submittals process. There's a quite large amount of information that's shared back and forth between the Diversion Authority and our RVA and their folks. So on any given time, we have somewhere between 70 and 90 submittals from them in our review queue. Those range from, originally it started with plan drawings and our actual details to get the project built. We're pretty well through that phase. Now we're working on inspection and testing reports, things they do in the field for monitoring the work they're producing, shop drawings, so further details on the plans, updates to any of their plan documents. Right now we're in a heavy process of them developing their O&M manual, so that's been going back and forth quite a few times. And then ultimately the interim completion submittals, so there's a fair amount of work that goes into those as far as reviewing all the final paperwork, making sure we're ready to accept a portion of the work and move it towards payment. So you see some stats. We've carried out 4,700-ish total reviews throughout the course of the project. Like I said, this last month we had about 99 that went through our queue. Again, any given time we're in the process of reviewing. I think at the end of the month we had close to 90, but we're usually in that 70 to 90 range of pieces of information passing back and forth between us and our RVA. And then, Peggy, if you scroll down just a little bit, we see that in this report you also talk about if we had any interim completions. We did not have any of those in February's reporting period. There are 28 that we've received various degrees of notice on. They're required to give us several notices when they're stepping towards interim completion so we can prepare our team for those reviews. There's 28 of those that are in that potential review process and are moving towards being submitted officially to us. So those we're expecting here as time goes. Some of the ones that are a little more weather and ground condition dependent might slide back just a little bit in time, but anticipating again a heavy lift here in the next few months with processing those interim completions and moving on. So with that, any questions you have related to the submittals process? I think just a good highlight of some of the things we do in the background that just happen and are part of the process to making sure we're getting the project that we all signed up for. So.
And 16th of 19 bridges over the Stormwater Diversion Channel opened to traffic this month. I'm Tom Fuchs, Senior Construction Manager for the Metro Flood Diversion Authority, with that and other updates. ASN constructors opened the County Road 22 crossing on March 5th. Afterward, work continued nearby, removing the bypass lanes and excavating the diversion channel plug below. Just west of the FM Metro and north of I-94, BNSF crews completed track and ballast work as well as mainline track tie-ins for westbound rail traffic at the KO crossing. Westbound trains were permanently rerouted over the completed channel crossing on March 18th. Work will continue at the site with eastbound rail traffic expected to shift to the permanent line before the end of the month. Additionally, ASN constructors completed the last concrete placement for the 19 channel crossings. With the concrete railings now placed, the 52nd Avenue West Bridge is one step closer to opening this year, along with County Roads 6 and 14. Moving to the Maple River Aqueduct, we see that ASN constructors assembled and installed the horizontal truss segment of the aqueduct's vertical lift gate support structure. Much like the control structure gates at the southern embankment, the aqueduct vertical lift gates will be operated to regulate flow into the FM Metro if needed during extreme flood conditions. Progress also continued on the spillway. ASN constructors installed bridge girders for the maintenance road that spans the spillway, where they also continued concrete work on the spillway's side walls. A new compressor building now sits near the spillway as well. As part of the overall FM area diversion project, dozens of utility lines have been relocated to make way for the 30-mile stormwater diversion channel. This month, Western Area Power Administration crews disassembled existing towers, installed new poles straddling the channel, and raised a 230 kilovolt transmission line in Reach 11, just west of West Fargo. Finally, our tour ends in Reach 10 of the stormwater diversion channel. While excavation continued, it slowed due to the warming weather that's made the clay-like material difficult to work with. As part of that work, however, yet another diversion channel plug was removed at 21st Avenue West. For more updates, follow the project on social media.
Very good. It's almost getting there. Amy, what's up?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the board. This past month, we had the February construction update go out, and Jason was on KFGO and did a nice interview there. We also shared the County Road 22 crossing opening, as well as today the BNSF KO opening. The newsletter focused on engineering and had a strong open and click-through rate. For perspective, 17 to 28% is considered a successful open rate, depending on the industry. Tomorrow, you'll see the next newsletter, which is focused on earth moving. In terms of outreach, we provided some collateral materials for that trip to St. Paul as well. And that's my report this month. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. Land management update. Justin?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Quick update today. I'll start off with key activities. Since last month, we've successfully closed on 4 different parcels amongst 2 owners in the UMA area. We also continue those negotiations for settlement agreements throughout, for all the existing eminent domain actions. Since last time I reported, we haven't had any new trials, nor completed anything else in Cass County since those initial eminent domain trials for the property inspections and those discovery hearing pieces. However, we do continue to negotiate many settlements. Currently, we have 9 pending, but just to give context, right now we have a total of 23 parcels amongst 12 owners that are pending closing since last time I reported. That does translate to those acres of flowage easements that have been acquired. We've eclipsed 21,000 acres with less than 6,000 outstanding at this point in time. We're also working on the development of that post-operation cleanup and restoration program. Mr. Shockley reported out on that subcommittee. which was approved, and that will help us meet those timelines as we look to get those folks involved and continue that process. And then lastly, we continue to work on that crop loss program throughout the UMA in terms of post-operation and the necessity for that. The next 4 slides, this does depict the eminent domain as well as parcel status. On the left-hand side, that is the project footprint, and the right-hand side is that upstream mitigation area. All areas in greens are where we actually have acquired lands, blue currently in negotiation, and then red, or that orangish color, are currently in eminent domain. As noted, since last month, we have seen a continuous uptick, again, nearly 0.5% in that upstream mitigation area. Nothing changed within the construction footprint. We break that down a little bit further. Southern embankment area, as well as the environmental monitoring, no changes, still within that upstream mitigation area. And then lastly, we do break this down amongst the owner groups in the construction footprint as well as those parcels. Consistent moving towards the north, but as I note, usually that parallel is still consistent between that owner group and the number of parcels, both achieved settlements as well as in litigation at this point in time. And then the last slide, we always acknowledge the efforts of our land agents and all the folks that are helping still with relocation, claim preparation services, the RIMP payments, and as well as the overall negotiation for the various parts, both in North Dakota and Minnesota sides. With that, I'm happy to stand with any questions.
Justin, you just gave a handout to the board members. Can you just explain a little bit about Ben Escogard and Matt Nessa's issues?
Absolutely.
And your involvement?
Can I ask a
Commissioner
question
Court.
while he's doing that too?
Yep.
So obviously the project is going to be done hopefully fairly soon. What happens with I don't think all the land is going to be acquired by then. How will that work? I guess that's my question. What will happen if the project is completed and that isn't done? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So we have a couple constraints right now. One of them is we have trial scheduling that's pushed farther out. And so our continued efforts towards essentially the negotiations to try to get those pieces settled. At that point in time, in the event we potentially do have to operate, we potentially may have some outliers, but the overall goal is it's optimistic that we're able to get those pieces taken care of and wrapped up. Our momentum has gained tremendously over this last year. In the event that we do not have property acquired at that point in time, we're going to have to be cognizant of, honestly, what the conditions are, what the impacts are. Overall, though, we're optimistic, and we continue to message that. But I think our progress over this last year has truly shown where we're at and where we're likely going in that progress. So I gave all the board members a couple, well, it's actually one handout. It's double-sided. At the end of June of this last year, we had a significant rainfall event. In particular, was noted down on the Clay-Wilkin County line. There is the intersection of Highway 75 and 180th Avenue. To the west of 75th, or Highway 75, is Matt Ness's property, where he had sugar beets planted adjacent to a staging site for the contractor PWS Construction. Within that area, sugar beets, but there's also water that's impounded along the highway area, and surface drainage is critical for that area in general for shedding water off. Matt had notified me later on that there was significant impounding water that he thought was directly affected by the current conditions of water being held by the contractor within a sump area or a large dugout area, and water was not moving properly off their fields. In talking with Matt, I understand cropping systems and how we may have standing water, but understanding the true effects of standing water in crops doesn't happen immediately. We truly have to wait until the cropping season is over, evaluate what those harvest rates look like. In the interim, though, I did ask him to send anything and everything that he had towards me in terms of aerial imagery, any videos, and I engaged the Army Corps of Engineers early on, as well as got contractor information, waiting for some of that data to come out. As information evolved with Mr. Ness, I was able to get that over to the contractor and really try to open up some discourse and understanding how we can rectify this situation. To date, the contractor is currently working with Mr. Matt Ness. Prior to this meeting today, I was told that they're hopeful to have this rectified with Mr. Ness within the next 2 weeks. And so I will continue to keep people posted on that. But as part of this handout today, I did show you the location, some of those images of what things look like on site, both in July and August, as well as some of the issues of impounding water on property. Matt did have to utilize some aerial spraying rather than using actual vehicular sprays, just because access alone was not possible at that point in time. So there's tremendous inputs that go in when you have water. On top of that, sugar beets are a unique system where you deal with fungus more readily, and so you have to continue those inputs to get that harvest output, essentially. And with that, I have the potential or the estimated crop loss damage that Matt has been able to provide up to date. The backside highlights Mr. Ben Askegaard, who's present with us today. Ben is in a similar position. He's along 180th, approximately half a mile to the east of where Matt Ness's property is. That is a different contractor that is in the reach of SE5, which is AIS infrastructure. Along the stretch of road, which would be 180th, the contractor was in the process of stripping and moving topsoil along the ditch area and moving it southerly towards the edge of where Mr. Askegaard's field is located. Unfortunately, same time frame, that June 28th time frame, we did have heavy rains, and those existing surface ditches were not opened up. There was quite a bit of burden, as I understand from the images that Mr. Askegaard has provided. I had the opportunity to go out on site on July 2nd with Tom Fuchs out of our office, just to understand some of the issues going on down there, and also met with the Army Corps of Engineers that day to really discuss not only this issue, but to daylight the fact that this isn't going to be our first, nor is it going to be our last. And so it's being cognizant about the process and trying to accommodate what the adjacent landowners are trying to accomplish with their ag practices. And so from there, again, I've been in contact with Mr. Askegaard for quite some time now. We've gone back and forth with emails to the contractor, trying to get some responses and understanding what it is we can do. I've tried to shepherd both these issues with the different contractors. It's been a slow roll, but I can tell you that Mr. Askegaard as well as Mr. Ness have been very accommodating to this delayed timeline, but we're at the point where we do need to get this rectified. And so I wanted to bring this to your attention with these slides to give a high-level overview.
And I just wanted the board to be aware that Justin's worked very vigorously with this group to get this done. And Jenny Mojo has also been active with the Askegaard issue, and we're trying to push this forward, but I'm sure that's a little slow, and I think Ben will explain it later in the meeting. Thank you, Justin.
Absolutely.
Bernie Dardis, sales tax update or financial update?
Mr. Chairman, Finance Committee met yesterday. During those discussions, we approved bills of $1,298,788.01. Our finance report shows that cash on hand is $180,733,254. Our net position is $219,551,029. We also discussed all the board approving contracting actions, items A through D, 4A through D that you have on your agenda. And we talked about the MOUs and agreements Mr. Shockley presented to them, as well as settlement agreements and project updates. Mr. Backegaard gave it those on with regard to Georgetown, Wolverton, Christine, and Comstock, as well as all of the cemeteries. In addition to that, it also came before us, as Mr. Shockley talked about, with regard to the WIFIA loans, the $569 million, and that there is a $47.5 million that has been drawn on that loan. The sales tax collections, again, we compare it always on historical data. The county, it was this last reporting period is 0.07%. light as compared to a year ago, and the city of Fargo is minus 2.28%. So our sales tax collections continue to be less than what our projected dollars are for this coming year for net income on sales tax. With that, I'd stand for any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Mayor Dardis.
Make a motion to approve the finance report, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Just roll call vote, Bernie, or just
Not necessarily.
voice vote?
Voice vote. Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Executive Director step increase, Jason Benson.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair and board members. Over the last year, we've worked to try to align our personnel policies, making sure that they're aligned with Cass County. Just prior to me starting in my position, there had been a review of all the positions within the Diversion Authority, and a step matrix had been produced for all those positions except for the executive director. It just had a bottom end and a top end. And then typically the process for employees, and again this aligns with Cass County, is that at the beginning of the year, whatever Cass County's COLA increase would be added into that matrix, and all the matrix steps would be updated with the COLA increase. And then as somebody does their annual review, they get a step increase, they move up into that next step. But again, for whatever reason, the executive director just had a top end and a bottom end and didn't have a matrix. In talking with Tracy Peters, especially as we move towards operations and maintenance, I thought it was appropriate that we just have that my position was consistent with the rest of the positions in having a stepping, the same number of steps and the same process, again, similar to what Cass County has, including all the way up through the county administrator, so that in the future, when I do my annual review, if it's a positive review, then that step increase would occur at the annual review time. So with that, back when I did my annual review in January, there was between Tracy and I had misunderstood that basically it had to come to the board for that step increase, not just the approval of my annual review. So with that, the request is to accept the step increase for my position based on my annual review, and then from here on out that the executive director position will have the same step system as the rest of the positions, and that again, basically from here on out, similar to where the other employees are, when a employee receives a review, if it's a positive review, they would get that step, and then the COLA increase based on Cass County's COLA would get added to those steps every year in January.
So I have two county members here. You understand that this is the way you guys do stuff, right? This is consistent. This is consistent with the county's way of doing things, and we're just following that. Yep, is that correct? Any questions of Jason?
Including the COLA.
Including the COLA. Do I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yeah, you've done well on your evaluations, Jason, and there's no reason not to do this, so I appreciate that and the hard work that you're doing on a variety of different fronts. But I am also cognitive is that the board did want to be aware of any kind of salary changes, so this is consistent with the policy that Shelley, you went through and we talked about. So,
I do have one question, Chair Mahoney.
Mayor Carlson.
Although that this would be more of an automatic increase based on a favorable review, would this still come before the board every year, at least as a awareness acknowledgement?
Mr. Chair, Mayor Carlson, yes, I see this. My review is still going to be an open review, and so then, if it's a positive review, then it would be the approval for the step increase based on that positive review. If it's not, then no step would be authorized then.
Okay, so it would just be part of the review process, that if it's favorable, that would be made public.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Breitling.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Mr. Capitan.
Aye.
And Mr. Steen.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Governor's policy annual review.
All right. So this was our first quarterly review of the governance policy. If you recall, every quarter we're going to review basically a fourth of the different policies within the larger governance policy. And typically, if these are approved at the planning committee, they would go to the consent agenda for the Diversion Authority Board. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, it was the St. Paul Moorhead Clay County days for the chamber, and so we didn't have a quorum at the planning commission. So the planning committee members that were present did review the policy, and did have the recommendation that those policies remain intact and with no changes. But again, because they didn't have a quorum to approve that, it's appropriate to move that to the full board for approval. But again, it was positively reviewed and with no recommended changes.
Planning Commission without a quorum, what was that committee, we went through all the different reviews, and Jason had no deficits, and we found him to be performing at a high level. So our recommendation would be his first quarter review, we would make a recommendation that we approve of it. So can I have a motion, please?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Breitling.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Mr. Capitan.
Aye.
And Mr. Steen.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Chris Bacagard, settlement agreement project updates.
Thank you, Chair Mahoney. As Mayor Dardis mentioned in his finance update, we did do a review of the settlement projects. Just kind of to highlight, there's 13 total projects that we agreed to in the settlement agreement with the Upstream Coalition. Of those, 8 required some level of construction, 5 didn't require any specific construction. So of that, we have 1 project that is completed, that's the Eagle Cemetery. We have 3 that have been bid or under contract. We have 3 scheduled for bidding here yet this year, and 1 scheduled to bid in 2027. I'm ready to highlight those real quick. So the first 2 on the list here, Georgetown and Wolverton, were 2 projects that we agreed to assist with. Buffalo Red is developing. Buffalo Red Watershed District is developing those projects. Again, the first one scheduled for bid is the Wolverton project. Just as a reminder, that provides 2 secondary benefits to us. One, it also encompasses one of our cemetery projects, and it also would remove the need to acquire some flowage easements through the city of Wolverton. So we've been working with their group to develop that, anticipate they're finalizing their land acquisition process now, anticipating they would bid the project here sometime in 26 and start construction. The Georgetown project is progressing on a little bit different timeline. They're planning to start that project and bid it in 2027. The other city levy project was the Christine project. That's being developed by the city of Christine. Again, they're in a similar spot to where the Wolverton's at. They're in the process of doing land acquisition finalizing details for their design. Again, anticipating they would bid that project sometime in '26 and start construction on that as well. The next project on the list, Peggy, we get into City of Comstock. We actually had 2 projects we agreed to with them. One was a project that is being led by Clay County. That was the paving of the road through town to help with drainage improvements and to improve the quality of the roadway there. That project was bid last year. Half was constructed last year. The other half will be constructed here later this spring and early summer. The second project was to help them make improvements to their lagoon. And that project is, again, they're finalizing land acquisition here. They indicated this month yet, hopefully, and then they'd be moving that into the bidding phase, and that is also scheduled to be bid and start construction in 2026. The remaining 8 projects are related to cemeteries. The first 3 of those required some level of construction. That's the Clara Cemetery. That was on the consent agenda today. We reviewed that with the Finance Committee yesterday, so that project is now bid and we recommended award, or you guys awarded that here with the consent agenda today. That will start after Memorial Day this year with anticipation we would complete that project this fall. Clara Cemetery is the cemetery that's the deepest in our operating pool, so that has the largest levee. So that one is fairly important for the overall operation of the project. The Eagle Cemetery was awarded last month. That is also on the same schedule. We'll start construction after Memorial Day of this summer and completion this fall. Sorry, the Eagle Cemetery, I got that backwards. The Eagle Cemetery we completed last year. I had those in the wrong order. That one we bid last year, constructed last year. We're doing right now the vegetation and tree establishment. The North Pleasant project we awarded last month, and we'll start after Memorial Day this year with construction yet this summer and fall. The remaining cemeteries have various degrees. Hemnes, we're acquiring flowage easements through our land acquisition process. That's the extent of what we need to do in Hemnes Cemetery. Rowan Cemetery is a private cemetery that the Corps of Engineers is working through the State Historic Preservation Office to do some documenting of that cemetery. The likely outcome of that will be some sort of a placard that records the cemetery and documents it for historic purposes. The Salem/Wolverton Cemetery, that's the one that's protected with the Wolverton levee project that Buffalo Red Watershed District is progressing. And then the last 2, the St. Benedict Cemetery and the Lower Wild Rice and Red River, those are the closest to the southern embankment, but are on the protected side of the project. They had some view shed concerns there, so again, the Corps of Engineers cultural resource team has been working on developing the view shed mediation for that, which will likely be satisfied by the vegetation plan that we have in place for the southern embankment. So no separate construction projects planned for those 2 cemeteries, just will be addressed by the construction of the southern embankment itself. So with that, I'd stand for any questions related to the update on the settlement projects, but we're making nice progress on those with anticipation we'll have them all under construction by next year. So.
Any questions? Thank you, Chris.
You bet.
Public comment, Ben Eskegaard? Ben, you'd come to this one over here. Sorry.
Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me come have this conversation. My name is Ben Eskegaard. I live in South Fargo with my wife. 3 kids who are 9 and 6 and 3. I'm a 6th-generation farmer from Comstock, Minnesota, that farms with my dad, Ed, Uncle Andrew, and my 2 cousins, Isaac and Sam. We have been affected by SE5 project. I'm here to put a face to the name, since our crop damage claim has been in an email chain. This claim started June 29th, which was a Sunday of 2005. We as a family are very frustrated, since we have followed all the requests to make sure everything has been documented. On January 6th, I met with Justin Fisher, about the claims with all of my data and information. Justin sent out an email the next day to everybody. I don't know, there's been a lot of people added to that email thread. I have yet to have anybody reach out to me personally, besides email, and ask me anything about my claim. My Excel spreadsheet's busy. There's lots of questions that somebody could have asked. It's mainly focusing on the contractor that this claim is against. Here we are today, and all that has happened so far is more emails and a contractor rejecting responsibility for this claim. I teach my children the difference between right and wrong and doing what is right. What AIS did to our family farm is negligent. Taxpayers cannot reward substandard work. Mind you, the SE5 project should have been done last September. Last September, that should have been done. And all the roads on the county line road is still closed to this day. Water drainage is crucial to producing good crops in this heavy clay River Valley soil. All of our fields currently have been LIDAR mapped, watershed maps. Every drain has a 0.05 slope on it. It's supposed to run water. To put that in perspective, 0.03 is the county road ditch, roughly. I know where to dump my dirt when I'm making my ditches, via the maps, via satellites, via everything. Given the circumstances, I got a $71,000 bill for this contractor. All I'm asking for is some adulting going on here. It's simple. No questions on anything I've documented besides what Justin's been asked. Crop insurance claims. And all this stuff is still, I'm accruing interest on all this money. As a 42-year-old farmer, this farming economy sucks right now. It's terrible. My ask, as a citizen of Fargo, citizen of a landowner in Minnesota, is that leadership needs to prioritize and execute resolving this issue. You talk to Matt Ness, my neighbor, we're buddies. We know what's going on. We just want to be made whole. So, with that, I want somebody to ask me a question, because I deserve that at least, so.
Well, Ben, I think you also have to report that the insurance company reached out to you and denied your claim. Is that correct?
Well, the insurance company hasn't denied my claim. The contractor, who is the general counsel, denied anything that I had to say, because there wasn't any data, or the data was, they didn't have any pictures. This is coming from a contractor that told me that after they got the ditches opened up, there's only 2 inches of water behind there. I said there shouldn't be any water on my land. You get, especially wheat. Wheat is a pretty susceptible crop to any waterlogging, especially at the tillering/boot stage into the heading stage. So 48 hours, 4 or 5 days of waterlogging. You look at my claim, I'm 25% yield reduction compared, and I have 3 other fields I'm comparing this to, 2 south and 1 north. All I'm asking is just simple. Communicate. It's all we got to do is just have a conversation. Besides farming, I sell sugar beet seed to all the growers in the Moorhead factories, American Crystal Factories District. I make deals with many guys every day. So all we need to do is sit down and figure this out. So I want to know what the next steps are. I can't handle this. My banker, who's American Federal, is wondering when my money's coming.
Jason, you want to comment to where we're at on this, please? Any members have any questions of Ben?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mayor Carlson, you had a question?
Sorry, I just have one question. The 3 pictures that we have, I'm just curious, when were these pictures taken?
Those were taken on the, well, these might be Jason's, I don't know. But I sent, Mahoney's seen the pictures. I sent 3 videos, obviously showing that the ditches, the drain on the draw was plugged, on the county road ditch, going to the Wolverton Creek was plugged, because they didn't want any water to silt, or any dirt to silt, or move through. I don't know why, but there was plenty of grass and there's silt fences everywhere, and the culverts were plugged, right in front of the culverts were plugged. I called that contractor up that Sunday to get somebody out there, otherwise I was gonna hop in his excavator and move it. So.
Jason?
Yeah, Mr. Chair and board members, so as Ben's indicated, we've been in communications from the beginning on this to, from the incident. Commissioner Mojo called me on the 29th of June, and I believe Mr. Askegaard and I talked on the 30th, and we got Justin out there. So really moving forward, the main thing that still has to be completed is the process through the claim process with the insurance company. I think that's based on, I understand Mr. Askegaard's frustrations with the response back from the legal counsel, from the contractor saying, basically nothing to see here, nothing happened, when clearly the pictures are there in the video, and you can see that there's a windrow of dirt that's holding back water in his field. So, but until that claim process has been completed and worked through the insurance, to me, I think that's really the last full step. And then based on that, then we'll have to look at the results of that claim. If the insurance agrees to pay out all or portion, from there where we would go. But at the same time, again, this has been a lengthy process. Once all this was compiled, it should have been a fairly smooth process to submit a claim, no different than what your cities deal with and counties deal with when a contractor maybe damages a passing car on a construction project. The car owner goes and gets a couple different estimates from a auto body shop, and then they submit it to the insurance company for the contractor, and the claim's processed. This unfortunately has taken a much longer time, and the contractor needs to step up and take a more active role in making sure that this process is handled appropriately instead of the hands-off approach that they've had.
But now, Jason, there's a problem here because the Corps contracted with this contractor. So John Shockley, if you step up once, one of the comments was, why doesn't the diversion just pay the bill and then let the insurance company pay us back? And John brought up some issues because it's a Corps contract, we can't do that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So just for clarity, this is a Corps contract. The Corps provides us the authority with the right-of-way that it wants to be acquired through right-of-way real estate drawings for the contractor to act and construct within those boundaries. The authority acquired them because it's part of the Southern Embankment. This is a Corps contractor, meaning that the Corps uses its own procurement, its own money to make payments to the contractor. So we don't, as the authority, actually have any what's called privity of contract with the contractor. It's not our contractor. It would be, candidly, it'd be easier if it were our contractor because we could facilitate better communications. This is a Corps contractor. The Corps contractor is responsible to the Corps. If the authority makes the payment, then the insurance for the contractor is going to argue there's no damages to the property because the property owner has been made whole, because that's what the insurance company is going to take the position. So my advice is to let, as Jason had indicated, file the claim with the insurance for the contractor, and let that process play out, because if you satisfy the amount now, then the insurance will not pay it out, and the authority is gonna be left paying for it all. So that's the challenge we have. We don't, this isn't our contractor.
And Jason, I understand Terry's going to meet with Ben next week. Is that correct? And then, but the insurance company just bowed out. They're going to wait till May to meet with him?
Right now, Mr. Ashkegaard had made a request to meet within the next 2 weeks, and unfortunately, this afternoon, we heard back from the contractor saying it doesn't work for them. How about late May? And so, we're continuing to support Mr. Ashkegaard and requesting that the contractor, fulfill their requirement to, or the request to meet and come to some sort of resolution here.
So as a citizen of Fargo, how can we reward bad behavior from a contractor? I mean, May 21st is like a slap in the face for me. I'm planting. Like, this is, even as an American citizen, the Corps is run by the government. How is this okay that we as taxpayers let this happen? I can't be the only guy out here thinking about this. I mean, I should have had a $200,000 bill if I'm gonna have to wait till May 21st to get a check. Am I the only one that thinks this is wrong?
Ben, we very much agree that we feel this is wrong. We'll do everything in our power to help to make this expedited. I only became aware of this in the last month, so now we're on it. I think the whole team is working as hard as they can to get it resolved. And we will talk to the Corps coming in next Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to have a discussion about this. I have a meeting with them for an hour, and this is one of my top priorities. You and everybody else that has been impacted by this project, because we wanted to be fair, friendly, and work with you. This is totally not that, and this is not something we want at all. Jenny Mojo has been very strong about this. The county's been very strong about this, and you will see us get more actively involved if this does not get resolved. Concur with you, it's not the best time to try to solve it when you're planning. You need the money now, so it's time to pay you off. So.
No, it's frustrating. Like I said, it's been going on since the 29th of June. Met with them the 6th of January. Justin and I sat there and said, when's a reasonable time to get this resolved? I said, May 6th. That was May 6th down. 2 months.
Yeah.
Here we are, chasing emails. Email threads, I mean, there's too many people on that email thread. I don't even know who's foot or horseback anymore. So
Sure.
I would just appreciate, all we need is communication. Communication solves so many problems, face-to-face contact, I don't care. But I need answers.
Yes, sir.
So,
Chair Mahoney.
We
Thank
will
you for
work
my
on
time.
it. Thank you. Mayor Carlson.
Thank you, Chair Mahoney. Just, Mr. Asgard, I'm sorry that you're going through this. I find it to be really unacceptable that this insurance company had a meeting planned with you, and then with I'm sure the number of individuals that work for their insurance company, that they are not able to meet with you until May. I know that Terry Williams is still listening, I believe, on the phone. And I would ask that on behalf of the Corps, or if Ms. Williams can work as a member of the Corps, to contact your contractor to push them to meet with this individual. This has been going on for over a year now, and I just find it to be really unacceptable. And if it, as Mr. Shockley stated, if this was our contractor, we would be able to do a lot more. And I would hope that the Corps, on behalf of the individuals who are having to go through this, would put some pressure on to make sure that their contractors are also adhering to an acceptable timeline.
Mayor Dardis.
So is Mr. Ness dealing with PWS construction with the same issues?
Mm-hmm.
Non-payment?
Non-payment.
Then I believe that this board ought to send a very strongly worded letter to the Corps of Engineers that these two contractors are out of favor with regard to any work that they're doing on our project-related stuff, that these contractors are blackballed. Get rid of them. This diversion authority has worked so hard, working with producers and working with the land management and our policies to make sure that these producers are made whole by the work that we do. You know, we've been ongoing on this for 10 or 12 years. All this planning that we did with land management and how we're going to take care of these producers, and we have a situation like this, with all due respect, it's $100 and some thousand, but it's ridiculous. This is the worst black eye that the Diversion Authority, the Corps of Engineers, and all of us could possibly have. We have promised the producers that would be responsible.
Would you like to make that in the form of a motion?
I sure as hell will.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Jason, you understand the gist of the letter?
I do.
John, do you understand the legal part of that? Is that fine?
Yes, I do.
We could do that, right?
Yes, you can send a letter to the Corps to that effect.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any further comment? Roll call vote, please.
I'll find my list here. Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mr. Breitling.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Ebinger.
Aye.
Mr. Capitan.
Aye.
And Mr. Steen.
Yes.
And that is everyone.
Thank you as a board for being patient with this. I think it was something you needed to know about, and it needs to be addressed. We have our next meeting in April 23rd. If there's no other business, we stand adjourned. Thank you.